Hey guys, Fluffy Printer here. Today, let's talk about adding magnets into our 3D prints so that way when you put them on, they stick on. But as you can see in here, you can't see the magnet because, well, I have it well out hidden in here. So, let's talk about how you can add these into this. And it's very simple, very easy. And once you understand the concept, the world is your making. You can do whatever you want and how you want to do it. Whether you want to add magnets, whether you want to add LED lighting, however you choose. Those are just two examples, but there's a lot of other things you can do. So let's get started. As you see, I have my FlashForge Orca up and running. I'm going to go ahead and add the same file here for what I have for my knitted spider. Right there. I bring it up. As you see, there's my spider. I'm going to go ahead and scale it up to 125% uniformly. There we go. Now, you see when we're going here, we need to make sure we have our object selected when we do this. After you do that, right click on it. You'll see add negative part. You need to add your part, which is the disc, which is what my little magnets are just little small discs. Now, you need to understand what the size of that disc is. So make sure you know which ones it is. So if you have to write it down on your container for your magnets, or if you could just have a good memory of which one is which, you need to make sure you know your sizes. This is a 15 by 2 millimeter magnet. So we need to have the negative part selected. Go to your scale here. You'll see the size. It's already set up for a 15 by 15 by 0.2. That is too thin for what we need. When we go to add these into our prints, we need to give it a little bit of extra wiggle room so that way it can go in there and slide in without having any problems, but it'll stay in there when it starts to move, which is why I like to add a 0.2. Just make sure you don't have this as a uniform scale, because if you have it as a uniform scale, the whole thing will change. So let's go ahead and make that a 15.2. Let's also make the X and the Y is a 15.2. And now the Z, which is the height of it, it's going to be 2.2. And now as you can see, there's our disc right here. It's hard to see because it's clear, but we're going to go ahead and put it right into here. Now we need to go and look at the bottom. This is where you're going to see what we need to see. When you right click on it, hit drop. That'll put it right to the very bottom of the plate here, so that way you can work from there. I like to look on the very bottom of it so I can see what I'm doing. So we could put, say we put it right here. Need to have it, make sure it stays selected, but as you can see, it's right there. Okay. Now, make sure you're seeing the front of it, the back of it, the side of it. You do not want to see any weird angles, so you need to look at it straight and direct. Go up to here, you'll see an area, see a selection up here called Move. Here is where you can see the object's coordinates for where you want it inside the print. The blue arrow here represents this, how high or how low we are going to go in it. The green represents the back and the forth, and while the red goes from the side to the side. We only need to go up with it. I like to bring it up at least 0.5 millimeter. So when you bring it up, you're going to be looking at the screen. You're not going to be looking at the position of the top. So if you'll keep looking at the screen, you'll see I now have this set at 0.54, which is just perfect because it gives it about 2 layers right here. So you can't see this, so you barely see the magnet in this one. But if I bring up the, try my other one real quick. I have the same as for this frog because the magnet's right here. So if I were to stick these together, this one also has it. But depending on which print you're using, this is a flat. So as you can see, there's nothing here. So it's a well-hidden magnet. Which is why I like to bring it up at least 0.5 millimeter so that way it gives it 2 layers to stay put and can hide. Once we do that, then we can go ahead and click on that and it's going to stay put. And now we can go ahead and go through it and do our changes, but I'm just going to leave it alone because I need to show you the next crucial step. Once you go to your sliced plate, make sure you're looking at it at like probably the default view, which is great, which is this one right there. It's the front top right in the middle. Look at the slicing. Let it slice, let it do its thing. These are still really fun to impress your friends with. Just saying, hey, I could actually do something cool with my prints. All right. Right now, we're going to ignore this warning. We don't need to worry about it right now. This is where we need to worry. Ignore this spot. Do not touch this spot for it. It's only this one. So let's go over here. We need to drag it down until we start seeing that disc that we added in. See, it's right there. So let's bring it up until we see the very first layer that has been covered. Looks like it was layer 14. You can use your up and down arrows on your keyboard to see where it's at. Once you see that either layer 14 it's there, 13 it's not. On layer 14 here, I need to right click on that plus and hit a pause. What it will do is that your machine will stop printing at the very beginning of this layer. So you're going to see just this before it starts printing this. So it's paused at the end of this and paused at the beginning of that. So once you have that set, your print's going to be over here. It's going to be paused. You're going to take your object. You're going to insert it into the negative cavity that you have created. Once you are done, you're going to start your print, and then you're going to find that it's going to get covered up. You need to watch this to make sure that all of this gets properly covered when it gets printed. Because I have actually messed up a couple of times doing this. It took some time to figure it out and tweak it, but I got it. Which is why I like the 0.2 on that extra height range instead of just leaving it at the 2 because it's just going to rub right on the top of it. But we keep it at 0.2. It gives it the equal layers that it needs. It covers it properly, and it doesn't allow it to truly move around. So, and then once you're done, start your print. You're going to find it getting all printed all the way up. And once it's ready, voila. You'll have a spider with a magnet on it. So now you can put it on a fridge. Say, hey, I got a spider magnet. Hopefully this helps. I'm the Fluffy Printer. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a comment. Either way, hope this helps you out. And happy printing.